Hey everyone, Ashley Mailloux here with the Daily Racing Form. Friday's race of the day is race number 6 from Santa Anita Park. 6.5 furlongs on the downhill turf course. It's the $100,000 Irish O'Brien Stakes. This is for fillies and mares, 4-year-old and upward, and specifically for Golden State Series eligible runners. So these are restricted stakes series. This is one of those races that's for registered Cal-bred or Cal-sired runners. A full list of those stakes races on the CTBA's website. Great resource to go look at. And it's an interesting series. Looking at the field for this race, though, 6 total going postward with 2 big names headlining this race. The number 2, Alice Marble, and the 3, Big Summer. I think these two certainly stand kind of above their others in here. I do think, though, the number 4, Shocking Gray, is a bit intriguing, and I'm curious to see how she'll progress as she moves along in her career. But as I mentioned, 2 big names to compete with, both at short prices on the morning line. We'll start with the number 1 in here, Feeling Graceful, who finished 3rd last time out and has 2 starts in 2023, but they've both been on the dirt. Now, looking at her record, her lone 2 career wins were both on the turf course at Santa Anita Park. I think the big thing, though, is been a while since we've seen her on the grass. I do like her making her 3rd start off the layoff, but these are deeper waters. I think the other mares to her outside in here are really going to put her up to the test in this race, and I have some reservations about her. She is, though, a price on the morning line at 8-1. Now, the number 2, Alice Marble, one of the big 2 in here. This one out of the Phil D'Amato barn actually was able to win last time out. Has been favored in those last 3 races. Was able to kind of get that first win of 2023. It was on the dirt. It was going 3/4 of a mile. It was a good performance, though. I love that she was able to circle that compact field. But I want to take a look at that race actually 2 starts back. Now, that was her most recent turf effort on the downhill. Looking at this race, it's a key race. A couple runners to note. The number 1, Big Summer, who she'll face again. She was the number 3, Alice Marble, and the number 6, Taming the Tigress. And you'll see the stretch run in here. Big Summer is on the front, is going to be able to prevail in here. Just keeps on kicking on. But I did like that the 2 other horses that were in the money, Eddie's New Dream, who ends up getting second, as well as Alice Marble, they still are game throughout the stretch run. They just could not get to Big Summer in the end. She has a tremendous record on the Santa Anita Park turf course. She's a major player in here, and I do like that she did get that confidence-winning performance last time out. Now, the number 3, Big Summer, this one out of the Carla Gaines barn. She's done tremendous work with this 5-year-old mare. You look at her record, she's yet to finish out of the top 3, 4 wins from those 12 career starts. And last time out, I wanted to look at that race on February 18th. I think this is a huge performance from her when she ends up finishing second in the Wishing Well. We'll take a look at the replay there, the performance that she was able to get. It was a compact field of 6 runners there on the 18th, and the way that she was able to just kind of keep on in the stretch, she was very game. She only misses by a neck behind Freedom Flyer, who certainly had the advantage kind of crossing over onto the dirt and in the stretch. So a nice performance from Big Summer, as we've kind of talked about. Very consistent, has a great work coming into the Irish O'Brien. The number 4, Shocking Gray. This is the filly that I think is super intriguing. She only has 5 starts under her belt, so obviously the least experienced runner in the field, but she ran very well last time out. We'll take a look at that replay from January 28th, where she's able to circle the field in a 1-mile turf event. You can see her in here. She's already made her move at this point, and she's going to continue to move forward here and puts on a good performance. It's, in my opinion, it's hard for horses sometimes to graduate and then face winners for the first time and kind of find themselves in the winner's circle again. But Shocking Gray, it was no task at all. She looked very good throughout in this race, very comfortable. The big question will be, she's cutting back in distance. Her last 2 efforts, actually her last 3 efforts, I should say, have been at the mile. But in terms of the pace scenario, I still think she's been able to prove herself at the shorter distances, especially earlier in her career. And it's a nice kind of spot for her to tackle some more seasoned mares that are older than her. And curious to see what we'll see from her in the future. The number 5, Taming the Tigress. We saw that replay from one of her efforts, kind of looking at her. I think the big thing with this daughter, Smiling Tiger, she's a little inconsistent. I thought she ran very well last time out, but that was on the dirt. You go 2 starts back, not the best of turf efforts, and she has been quite good on the turf in the past, but not in her most recent performance, where she finished 6th in that field of 9. Big Summer was able to beat her in that race. Alice Marble was 3rd. I do think maybe she's going to have a tough time turning the tables on the big 2 mares in here. And then we'll round the field out with the number 6, Rose Maddox. On the Steve Miotti barn, second last time out, going long here on the dirt, is going to cut back in distance and get back on the turf. Now, I was kind of contemplating showing that replay from December 30th, where this filly was dead last early on, and she did make a mild gain in the stretch to kind of finish mid-pack. The big concern with her going 6.5 in a turf sprint, She doesn't have a lot of time to make up that ground yet. Yes, there is pace to run at, but she is typically off slow, and I don't think you want that in a 6.5 furlong turf sprint, especially on the downhill. But one to maybe look at, maybe a fringe player at best in here. So I think her best chances would be, though, going slightly longer on the grass. Now, before we get to my top 4 in here, just want to remind everyone, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Daily Racing Forum, a great resource there, tons of content and videos to follow along with. But looking at this race, I mentioned it, the 2 big mares being the number 2, Alice Marble, the number 3, Big Summer. I went with Big Summer, just looking at the consistency angle and that performance that we showed on January 7th. I think it was a huge effort from her. And then even next time out, Big Summer's performance in the Wishing Well. Very, very game mare. So I did use her on top. Alice Marble for second. And then from there, I think it's no surprise. I kind of talked up the number 4, Shocking Gray. I think this filly is going to get better with every start. She is facing much tougher competition, but she has a bright future. Then rounding out the number 6, Rose Maddox. So for me, Big Summer in the Irish O'Brien. Don't forget, this is our race of the day this Friday. Good luck.